got that sass in every way. Talking fast, not a pause in sight. Leanie's got my head in a spin tonight. Oh, shut up, Leanie, can't you see? You talk so much, it's drowning me. With your white hair and sassy flair, just give me a breath, let me share. Podcast queen with a wicked smile, running jokes mile after mile. Try to speak, but in she slides. Leanie makes it a wild ride. With a wicked smile, running jokes mile after mile. I try to speak, but in she slides. Leanie makes it a wild ride. Oh, shut up, Leanie, can't you see? You talk so much, it's drowning me. With your white hair and sassy flair, just give me a breath, let me share. Oh, Leanie, don't get me wrong, can't imagine life without your song. But girl, you've gotta let me in. This ain't just your show to win. So here I stand with my mic in hand, trying to keep this show as planned. Leanie laughs, guess it's gonna stay a little secret every day. Trying to keep this show as planned. Leanie laughs, guess it's gonna stay a little secret every day. Oh, shut up, Leanie, can't you see? You talk so much, it's drowning me. With your white hair and sassy flair, just give me a breath, let me share. Let me share. Oh, Leanie, don't get me wrong, can't imagine life without your song. But girl, you've gotta let me. This ain't just your show to win. Oh, shut up, Leanie, can't you see? You talk so much, it's drowning me. With your white hair and sassy flair, just give me a breath, let me share. Oh, Leanie, don't get me wrong, can't imagine your life without your song. But girl, you've gotta let me. This ain't just your show to win. So here I stand with my mic in hand, trying to keep this show as planned. Leanie laughs, guess it's gonna stay a little secret every day. So here I stand with my mic in hand, trying to keep this show as planned. Leanie laughs, guess it's gonna stay a little secret every day. Oh, 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 oh. It started with a chat, just a few of us there, talking about life and the stuff we all share. From kids to chaos and the mess we make, we bonded over laughs and every mistake. From bad hair days to a joke or two, no topic was off limits, nothing taboo. We laughed till we cried, had each other's backs. A sisterhood formed in the middle of tracks. Sisterhood of the chat, we're strong and we're loud. From West Virginia, Liverpool, we're proud. From Texas to Australia, we've got the best. Lifting each other up, we pass every test. From the East Coast to the West, we cheer. From Indiana to New York, we're always here. From late night texts to early morning calls, we've been through it all, big and small. From talking fashion to the crazy stuff, we got each other's backs when life gets tough. We send memes and pics of the day gone wrong and the occasional "can you believe this song?" We share everything, no secrets to keep, like a wild dream that we never want to sleep. Sisterhood of the chat, we're strong and we're loud. From West Virginia, Liverpool, we're proud. From Texas to Australia, we've got the best. Lifting each other up, we pass every test. From the East Coast to the West, we cheer. From Indiana to New York, we're always here. From Tennessee, where the music plays, to sweet tea nights and lazy days. From England's hills to the country roads, our sisterhood's a bond that forever grows. Sisterhood of the chat, we're strong and we're loud. From West Virginia, Liverpool, we're proud. From Texas to Australia, we've got the best. Lifting each other up, we pass every test. From the East Coast to the West, we cheer. From Indiana to New York, we're always here. Through the highs and the lows, we've been there. When the world feels heavy, we just don't care. We're loud, we're bold, we're a little bit wild. but always there for each other, with hearts so mild. Sisterhood of the chat, we're strong and we're loud. From West Virginia, Liverpool, we're proud. From Texas to Australia, we've got the best. Lifting each other up, we pass every test. From the East Coast to the West, we cheer. From Indiana to New York, we're always here. So here's to the sisters who make life so sweet. We've got
Hello, hello, hello. Hi, everybody. Oh, man, it's so good to see you guys. It does seem like we're here all the time. It does seem like that, but I'm quite all right with that. How's everybody doing? I hope everybody had a good day today. I hope your day is wherever you're at has been good, or it's getting started being good, or it's going to be good, or something good. I hope you find at least one thing to smile about today. Wherever you're at in this world. Thank you guys so much for being here. Thank you for the support. It means the world to me. And I don't say that lightly at all. Let's take some roll call. See who all came in to visit. This is, listen, y'all, I love coming on here and just seeing chat already moving, seeing new faces in chat, seeing the old faces in chat. And I don't mean that by age, because nobody gives a shit about age around here. Unless you're, you know, I mean, I feel like my humor is not for anybody under the age of like 30 or 35. I don't feel like I'm going to be understood at all. I mean, I already deal with people that uh, don't, can't tell my humor and don't get sarcasm. So dealing with people that are my children's age and younger, oh, I got nothing. I got nothing. Welcome, everybody. Mary Jane Dow. Hello, girlfriend. Good to see you. Detours in the chat. Good to see you. Sunshine. Hello, love bug. April. Hello, sister. Thank you so much for being here. Alex Cleary, all the way over there from Arwen. One of the funniest men in chat is here. To New York. Actually, that's my favorite song that we have, y'all. I'm not kidding you, because every word of it is so true. We had 8 people, 8, in my very first live that I ever did. And half of them were people from my real life, including a grandchild. Couldn't believe it. She tricked me. I didn't even know it was her. Oh, Possum the cat. Hello, love bug. Good to see you. Good to see you. Thank you guys so much for being here. You guys, we're gonna finish up this Taytor ShaBusiness today, y'all. It's gonna be finished today. Just gonna put a PSA out there. I will not be going live tomorrow night. I may go live during the day tomorrow, but I won't be live tomorrow night. I've got to figure out some travel plans. I got to get caught back up on the house and figure out what the hell I'm doing in my real life, in my RL. In my IRL. Oh, y'all, listen, my real life sometimes is more chaotic than it is here. In fact, hands down, it's probably more chaotic than it is here. I've got 10 grandkids, 5 kids, 4 of who is married. I got a bonus child still living with me. I'm married. I've got 3 golden retrievers, and I got a cat named Wednesday who thinks he's a dog. It's a full life. It's a full, good, happy life, but very, very chaotic. So good to see you guys. Thank you guys for being here. We're going to finish this up. I spent about an hour and 45 minutes going through the last of the trial and pulling, Ebony was in here last night. I don't know if she'll be back tonight, but I kept watching her in chat, and every time a new witness would come to the stand and the lawyers would ask the witness like a same question and same answer that another witness had already provided, she would put it in chat, and it kind of made me giggle a little bit. So in order to prevent that, I went through the rest of the court proceeding on 2.0, y'all. I went through it really, really fast. And I just pulled out stuff that we have already heard. And just the repeat, the sidebars, I try to get out as much as we can so that we can finish this tonight. And I think we already have a complete understanding about this crime. I think we've already got the ShaBusiness on Taylor, y'all. I think we understand. We got it. We got it. Now let's get to how this wraps up. And the ShaBusiness, Taylor did during these things. Hello, Britt. Good to see you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I'm blessed. I am blessed. Sometimes I think I'm overly blessed, but that I say that in a very joking way. I'm completely blessed. I do have a full life. But I did get some sleep tonight. I mean, today, y'all, I got about 6 hours. It was broken sleep because, of course, like I said, I've got 3 dogs. And they take their turns needing their mama, and that's me. And so I got broken sleep, but it was good sleep. That's hold on. All right, Newt. All right. They heard something outside, so I'm gonna let them go. It's probably just Wednesday wanting to come in. So they all took off. They'll be back. So I don't even remember what I was saying, but we're going to finish this up today, tonight. This is it, y'all. Please hit that like button. When I get it playing, you guys, I will go straight over to, what is it? YouTube. If you're not a streamer, you're probably like, what the hell is Lainey talking about? We're all on YouTube. Streaming is different. We have to keep 2 tabs open, the YouTube tab and the StreamYard tab, which is the streaming system that we use to go live on here when I'm pulling stuff up like this, when I need to use a streaming system. So yeah, I'll go so from here I can't do anything on StreamYard, and StreamYard, I mean anything on YouTube, and YouTube is where I put up the polls or ask questions or stuff like that. And sometimes I don't even see half the chat till I've gone over there. And then we have to be on StreamYard because in order for me to display stuff on my screen, I have to be here. Nobody cares. I know. Listen, guys, I'm aware. I am aware that nobody cares. So I'll shut the hell up about that. Let's remind ourselves about Taylor ShaBusiness. Let's get the ShaBusiness from Taylor herself. How about that? I pulled up an interview that ShaBusiness, Taylor gave us the ShaBusiness herself, you guys, gave us the 411 on exactly what happened after she was put in the pen and told to rot and shut the hell up, and nobody wanted to hear from her ever again. I found one. And I'm going to tell you, I don't like giving trigger warnings. I don't like all that. I'm an adult channel. And if you can behave like an adult, whether that be any emotion you can think of, and respect the person that's also in chat with you, that they have their right to behave like an adult as well, or have a different opinion or whatever, then we're going to be cool. Don't start no shit around here. There won't be no shit. If there's any shit, I'm going to end the shit. That's the way it goes. And that's my ShaBusiness. All right, let's remind ourselves who this chick is. This is going to be foul. She's gonna put it out there. Yeah, you have to be. You're out, April. You're rage quitting on me. Y'all get me. All right, listen. This is gonna be raw, and it's coming straight from Taylor's mouth, y'all. She's gonna give us the ShaBusiness on exactly what happened, and let's just say she has no couth. So if you don't like bad language, which I think the only one I found, they do bleep out stuff and things like this. And this is just an audio, you guys, because she is in the pen. This is just an audio of her looking back on the crime. And I think none of us are going to be shocked whatsoever about how she feels about it. You're not going to be shocked if you've been here and have had the pleasure of getting to know who the hell this chick is. You won't be shocked, but those that are just coming through, you might get a little bit. It might hurt a little. All right, let me make sure that this is up on screen as good as I can have it. We're going to go and start it. Our source is law and crime. Again, they didn't get me last time. We have our disclaimer banner floating on the top. I'm sure that one of my mods will float the disclaimer in chat. Let me just read it out for YouTube purposes. Fair use disclaimer, Copyright Act of 1976 gives allowance for this content to be used for purposes of criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research. And there it is. Don't come for me, YouTube. All right. Nobody even knows we're here. All right. You guys watch your ears. I'm going to go ahead and start playing this. And this is called Killer Taylor ShaBusiness Tells All in an Unfiltered Jail Call. Hey, be easy. And it's called I Cut His Head Off. And this was posted, you guys, just 8 months ago. So this hasn't been very, very long. All right, watch your ears. I'm going to start playing this, and then I'll mute me, and then I'll have a discussion with my dogs about being hateful to each other. BRB.
Convicted killer Taytor ShaBusiness tells all.
I sucked his and cut his head off at the same time because the only SD that I would ever be doing would be sucking.
The murderer herself speaking out exclusively to Law and Crime. What led up to the gruesome killing she's now serving time for? How her fascination with serial killer Jeffrey Dahmer first began, and the details of the horrifying crime.
I took a chain, I put it around his neck, and I asked him again, where my at? He didn't respond. His face turned purple. There was blood coming out of his mouth.
Thanks for joining us today. I'm your host, Sierra Gillespie, and the case we're talking about today, the one at Taytor ShaBusiness, is one we've covered at length here on Law and Crime. Our viewers were so intrigued, and honestly, I kind of understand why. The details are so shocking, so unexpected, and honestly unbelievable, but they're all true. You might know Taytor ShaBusiness as the woman who attacked her attorney in open court.
You went off on your attorney, Taylor. You went crazy on your attorney.
This actually happened more than once. You might also know Taylor as the woman who pointed finger guns at the judge during her trial and also flipped off the same judge during the same trial. You might also know her as the woman who was eventually forced to wear a spit guard for everyone's safety at the same trial. But perhaps what Taytor ShaBusiness is most known for is murdering her lover during sex, decapitating his body, and then leaving dismembered body parts across the city of Green Bay, Wisconsin.
Damn, head. I can't believe I let that go.
And what may be the most disturbing of all, beyond the fact that ShaBusiness sexually assaulted the victim after his head was cut off, is that his own mother found the victim's head in a bucket beside his severed penis and a Jolly Rancher.
Are you positive my son's head is in a bucket?
That's how she put it. I found my son's head in a bucket. So I'm dumbfounded. Didn't believe her.
Here's what happened. On February 23rd, 2022, dispatch in Green Bay, Wisconsin gets a disturbing and unexpected 911 call.
I have no clue what's happening. My girl swears that she's found her severed head of her son in the basement.
Did you go down there?
In a bucket. I went down. I can't tell what the I'm part of my language. I'm kind of a little freaked out.
It was a shocking and disturbing allegation that the dismembered head of Shad Thyrion was in a 10-gallon bucket.
Tara had woken me up and said she thinks she found Chad, her son's, that's how she put it. I found my son's head in a bucket. So I'm dumbfounded. Didn't believe her. Thought she was having a mental issue or something.
That's Steve Hendricks. He was dating Shad's mom at the time of his murder. He's the one who called police after finding this.
I go downstairs and see what the hell she's talking about. and I can't see anything. So we go back upstairs and contemplate what the heck to do.
So I guess what do you do specifically when you go downstairs?
I went to the basement and observed a bucket that she said, but I don't know, my mind blocked it out. But all I seen was like hair, like an animal, or I didn't know what the heck.
And I want you to keep in mind, Green Bay, Wisconsin is a small town, technically a city, but I call it a town. Almost everyone knows everyone. It has the small town feel. And yes, murders, crimes do happen from time to time, but nothing ever like this. So when police arrive to this home, they're skeptical at first until they get a closer look at the crime scene.
At the bottom of the stairs to the right, there was a green bucket with a shower towel on top of it, just to verify we had an actual head in the bucket. Lifted the towel off, and there was, in fact, a human severed head in the bucket.
The head belonged to 24-year-old Shad Thyrion, who was last seen with his one-time girlfriend, Taytor ShaBusiness.
Hi, Taylor. How's it going? Officer Russell with the Green Bay Police Department.
That's video of Taytor ShaBusiness's arrest on the other side of Green Bay, not long after Shad's remains were recovered. And here's where we have to insert some new information from ShaBusiness herself. For a few months now, Law and Crime has been working to get a sit-down interview with Taytor ShaBusiness. Now, the prison in Wisconsin has denied this request, so we don't have video of the interview, but we do have audio because ShaBusiness gave us the okay to record our phone conversations with her. So here's the first question. At the time of her arrest, was she thinking of going on the run?
I mean, that's definitely what I should have done, you know. That's definitely something that, like, any right-minded person would have done. Mm-hmm. That's definitely something that you could have done. But what I did, I stayed in town. I stayed in town, and I was chopping it up with my roommate.
ShaBusiness was pretty straightforward in our conversations, and she was the same way after her arrest, too. She admitted to all of the gory details in her police interviews. Take a listen.
You two being intimate, having sex?
It was getting there.
It was getting there, okay. So will this be considered foreplay?
Yeah, it was. And then, I don't know. And then, I just didn't stop. I don't know why. I didn't stop.
You guys done something like this in the past?
Not like that.
Do you use manual strangulation during sex at all?
No.
Is Shad like that?
A manual strangulation? Yes.
He likes strangulation?
I don't know.
You know what I'm
Yes,
talking about?
he does. Yeah.
Where'd you do the body?
The body's there. Yeah. It's,
So we're gonna take the head somewhere?
I like that.
You liked it?
Well, you're gonna have fun trying to look for all the organs, but yeah, they're all dismembered. Yeah.
So you dismembered the body too?
Yeah.
Well, what did you do with the body?
Oh, they're in the house.
Somewhere?
They're like, yeah.
Basement, upstairs, downstairs?
Absolutely in the basement. I was gonna bring them. And then, I know I forgot the head. I wanted the head.
Did you bring anything with you?
Yeah, it's in the van.
What?
It's in the van. It's, what is it? I think it's a foot, maybe.
The what?
I think it's a foot.
A foot
leg,
in the van?
a leg, maybe. I'm like, I'm gonna bring it all, and then I'm like, man, this is messy, so then I just left it. I got lazy.
Okay.
I got lazy, and that's what I did, so I'm like,
How did you dismember his body?
knives.
With what?
Knives.
Knives? More than one knife?
About 4.
Where'd you get those from?
Kitchen. So I couldn't find mine, and I wasn't sharp enough.
You weren't sharp?
No, it was alright. Bread knife works good.
Bread knife?
A bread knife works good, yeah.
Really?
I had to use what I used, so like, yeah. I got lazy last night, so
Where would these knives be now?
they're in with all the organs and all the body parts.
And where was that?
In the black bag. It's in the black bag.
In the basement?
It's in the basement. They're all in the basement.
Here's what ShaBusiness told police at the time. She was having sex with Shad. Then she started to strangle him with a chain. She said even when his face turned purple, she just kept going. After that, she dismembered his body with knives that were taken from his mom's kitchen. After that, she hid the remains around the basement and in a minivan she had been borrowing from one of her friends. Now, those clips that we just played for you were from her police interview in 2022, not long after the murder. But here's what she told Law and Crime just this month. And note, she pre-wrote this description of what happened and she read it out almost like it was a poem or something. Take a listen.
I was on the run in Texas after having my baby taken. I decided to make things right and clear up north. When I got back, they put my on the bracelet. I went to buy a bag on the low, so I went to my ex who was a Satan disciple, and family, we all Latin kings. So we beefing. We don't with SDs. I gave him $100 for the bag, and the bag was $50. He pocketed the cash. Me and him and another homie all soaked up, and then my homie left, and I went to drop off my ex, and he wanted before I left. So I went into the basement, and he went and pulled out 2 chains. I asked him, where my money at, fool? And he said, I ain't got it. So I took a chain, I put it around his neck, and I asked him again, where my at? He didn't respond. His face turned purple. There was blood coming out of his mouth. So I laid down on the bed and to listen to his heartbeat, and I said, damn, this motherfucker's still beating. I went upstairs to grab a kitchen knife. I went back downstairs, took off his pants. I sucked his cut his head off at the same time because the only SD that I would ever be doing would be sucking. Then I chopped his off and conceal the crime. I used a nearby shower drain to pour out the blood and put in bags and boxes around the basement to store the body parts in, and plastic bags for the organs. I was covering up his body, and while the people were entering the basement, I would continue to cut him up, and then and I would cover him up, and then when they would leave, I would cut him back up, and then I headed out to the truck, and I started loading up the body parts in there, and then I went back to the apartment I was staying at. After chopping it up with my roommate, I went to go get rid of the body, and then there was cops surrounding the place with their guns out telling us to get down, get on the floor, and that's why I'm in custody today.
ShaBusiness also gave us some more information about what led up to the murder.
Well, what went down was I had bought a bag of dope. I bought it for $50, but I gave him $100 and he didn't give me my $50 back. And what went down between the whole thing, he was a SD, and then I was a Lion King, and then I wasn't supposed to be doing my with my ex, but that's what went down. And SDs and Lion Kings, they ain't good.
ShaBusiness mentions in that recording, and according to her poem that she read out, that Shad Thyrion allegedly had stolen from her, and that's why she says she, quote, took him out.
I wasn't supposed to be doing business with my ex, but I did, and then what he did, he pocketed the money that I was supposed to have, so I went out and took his out for that. As soon as that went down, I started chopping up the body, because I did one thing for sure. I did have, I had a lot of
All the excitement. All the good times.
out there.
Taylor ShaBusiness was eventually charged with first-degree intentional homicide. She was also charged with third-degree sexual assault for assaulting the body after Shad Thyrion was already dead. But on top of all of this, she was also charged for mutilating a corpse. So why desecrate the body in that way?
That I can conceal this crime, I chopped up his body, and then, there was a lot of things going on at the time, but...
And right here is where the Jeffrey Dahmer comparison comes in. In all, Jeffrey Dahmer was convicted of 16 murders in the early 1990s, and I would say he's one of the more notorious serial killers there is out there for the grotesque aspects of the case. I mean, it's involving cannibalism and necrophilia on top of murder. So Dahmer, of course, comes up when we're talking about Taylor ShaBusiness because, first of all, they've got the Wisconsin connection. But second of all, he also came up in Taylor ShaBusiness's search history. Here's a clip from her trial.
Were there several searches related to Jeffrey Dahmer and other items on the device that were consistent with Jeffrey Dahmer?
Yes. Things such as flaming pentagram, Jeffrey Dahmer, things like that. KKK, I believe, is one of them.
And Detective, did you note the dates and times of the respective searches that you believed were relevant?
It was around the time of the homicide.
And there's a now infamous photo of Taylor ShaBusiness smiling next to a photo of Jeffrey Dahmer.
A photograph of my client, Taylor ShaBusiness, either laying on a bed or sitting. And then there's a phone next to her, and the phone has a picture of Jeffrey Dahmer on her phone. So they're together. We all know that Jeffrey Dahmer was the worst serial killer in Wisconsin history. There are a lot of negative memories and thoughts and commentary. People watch that trial on TV with Attorney Boyle and Attorney Wendy Patrikas in Milwaukee County. The state is trying to link my client with Jeffrey Dahmer by offering these exhibits.
ShaBusiness explained all of this to Law and Crime.
I had my niece with me, and she was watching a whole lot of series on Dahmer. A whole lot of series on Dahmer, and then everybody thought I was dating Dahmer, so people were laughing at my saying I was dating Dahmer. I took a picture with his, and then I was trying to put it on a blow-up doll, a customized blow-up doll. Mm-hmm. His face, and then send it off to one of my friends.
In the phone calls with us, ShaBusiness says she admits to the crime. She admits to murdering Shad Thyrion and dismembering his body. But she says she's no female Jeffrey Dahmer. She's only killed one person.
Nah. I mean, there's mother out there that, you really want to you beef with hard. I mean, yeah, you want to murder mother, but I mean, that's what other mother they be saying on my name that I've killed more than one. But man, I'm trying to work on this appeal, and get out.
Throughout the call, we asked ShaBusiness about the crime, but also her personal background, what she wanted to be when she grew up, or what she daydreamed about. The other voice in this clip that you'll hear is our booking producer, Diane Kay.
I would like to be a teacher, or I'd like to be a whatever,
I'd like to be still slinging my pussy on the street, but, over here, it's all right.
Okay. All right. Well, that makes sense.
Law and Crime also asked Taylor ShaBusiness about the attacks of her attorneys because, as we pointed out, there are multiple, and she gave us some background.
The most recent one, when my attorney, he was calling my and he was saying I need another competency here, and he kept on calling my sticking his tongue out at me. And so I went off on his. But the one before that, he was doing the same thing too, saying that about competency. He kept on saying you need more competency hearings. You need more competency hearings. They constantly keep on saying that, and I said no, I'm straight. My dad showed up in the back of the courtroom, and as soon as he popped through, that was my dad's previous attorney too, and then he had just fired his. He said get this guy off your case. So then, as soon as my dad popped up in the courtroom and he sat his down, I already knew it was go time, and that's when I had to go in. So then that's when I went in and I fired it.
Taylor ShaBusiness went to trial in July of 2023. She pleaded not guilty by reason of mental disease or defect, and she stands by that.
Definitely insane. I should have went back to Chicago. I should have went down south, but I didn't do that. I stayed up north. I stayed around in Green Bay. I went back to where my bracelet was at and to continue going to work and then continue on from there. But instead, I just smoked up with my roommate, and that was that.
To be clear, though, Taytor ShaBusiness was found guilty and found to be sane at the time of the crime.
The first verdict reads as follows. We, the jury, find the defendant, Taytor Denise ShaBusiness, guilty of first-degree intentional homicide as charged in count 1 of the information, dated this date, July 26th, 2023, signed by the foreperson. The second verdict reads as follows. We, the jury, find the defendant, Taytor Denise ShaBusiness, guilty of mutilating a corpse as charged in count 2 of the information, dated this date, July 26th, 2023, signed by the foreperson. The next verdict reads, we, the jury, find the defendant, Taytor Denise ShaBusiness, guilty of third-degree sexual assault as charged in count 3 of the information, dated this date, 26th day of July, 2023, signed by the foreperson.
So she was sentenced to life in prison, which, by the way, is the highest sentence anyone can receive in the state of Wisconsin. They abolished death penalty long ago. Now, Taytor ShaBusiness has tried to appeal her conviction, but the court found there are no grounds for appeal. This actually happened recently. She wrote a handwritten note to the court, and here's what it reads in part, quote, I'm a voluntarily dismiss the no merit and extend the time to file a post-conviction motion. So more could be ahead for her in terms of motions. We do know, though, that she's due back in court already in October for a second trial she now faces, this time for assaulting a staff member at the women's prison that she's currently housed in. We'll see what's ahead at Taytor ShaBusiness's upcoming trial. Law and Crime does plan to be there, so we'll give you all of the updates as soon as that happens with the hearings and then the eventual 3-day trial that is scheduled. On top of that, our booking producer, Diane Kay, is the one who's been in contact with Taytor ShaBusiness and recorded those phone calls. So we'll see if Taytor continues to reach out to Diane, and if so, and reveals more information, we'll definitely have a follow-up episode with the latest developments in the sordid case of Taytor ShaBusiness. Thanks for watching today's episode of Law and Crime News. I'm your host, Sierra Gillespie.
I'm 61, and today I'm switching from walking
Hello, everybody. Give me just a second. I clicked off the wrong thing. Son of a biscuit eater. Oh, that makes me so angry. Dang it, when you got all these tabs up here open and then you click on something wrong and can't remember what the damn tabs were for. But whatevs, we'll get through it. DJ, hello. Clearly not the woman you bring home to your mom. No. Anyways, you guys, we're going to get into it. Remember that, Taylor? Do you guys remember that? I just wanted to show you guys that too, for those that haven't been paying attention to this trial and maybe you needed a refresher of how really fucked up in the head this woman is. She's fucking crazy, y'all fucking crazy. All right, let's keep. That's the state. Yes. So the next thing we have is the state. You guys, like I said, I broke this all up so that we're just not listening to straight hours of, oh my God, different ways to tell me about DNA. I got it. I understand it. I mean, sometimes it's overkill in a courtroom, and I have to believe that. I haven't seen it yet, just seen your live. Hi, Amanda. Good to see you, love bug. Thanks for coming in. You didn't do nothing wrong, girlfriend. All right, let's pull this up, you guys. I split it all up into shorter segments. We're gonna, like I said, all that I took out of the court hearing that we didn't hear was the defense's people that they put on the stand. I listened to it, you guys. It's the same effing thing over and over again. And but also Taylor's dad was brought up on the stand, and he, during this time, was still in prison as well. You know, he's a model citizen, you guys. I mean, you know, he was someone to look up to. I've got footage from him as well being on the stand. That's the only thing that I thought was of any value watching what the defense brought up because it was the same shit on a different day in a different suit. That's it. So we're going straight to closing arguments. This is nothing like Juan Martinez or whatever Kirkner means closing arguments, you guys. These are like, one is like 13 minutes, one's like 7 minutes. I'm like, right on. Just get to the effing point. You know, we don't need a backstory. Just get to the effing point. We got it. We got it. All right. So that's where we're going to start off is in closing arguments, the state's closing arguments. Let me bring that up and share that. Y'all watch your ears. I can't control your volume. Good to see everybody in chat. Thank you so much. Do me a favor, hit the thumbs up. That's all I ever ask. And let me hit the thumbs up here for Court TV. Thank you, Court TV, for allowing this for us. They know about us, you guys. I'm sure Vinnie Politan knows. Lena's out here doing the ShaBusiness. All right, let's get to it.
I want to start with something that we heard yesterday, or actually Monday, during opening statements. Counsel told us that there's always two sides to every story, and with all due respect, this is not one of those stories. This is a story that pretty clearly shows what happened. It's a story of the defendant taking a dog collar that was around her friend's neck and pulling it so hard and for so long and with such force that it caused his death. That in that moment, she made a deliberate choice to end her friend's life. She then, after the fact, degrades his body, engages in sexual acts with him. This is a story of the defendant then dismembering him and leaving his remains all over the house for his mother to find. And this isn't the state's story. This isn't law enforcement's story. It's the defendant's story, as you heard today, right? So as we go through this, it's easy to sit here and say, yes, the defendant confessed, and it's true. She confessed to every single element that you will see that the state needs to prove. But we didn't just stop there, right? We could have been done with this case on Monday, played her interview and called it a day. But you should expect more, right? We have the burden of proof, and obviously we called a number of witnesses to establish what this story shows. So I want to walk through that story. And I know there's a lot of law that was just read to you, but I'm a visual learner, so I like to see kind of what we're looking at here. So as I go through these three offenses, there's really, as you'll see, 6 things the state needs to prove beyond a reasonable doubt. Not every fact that was testified to, not what time somebody got to Scott Holmes' house at the end of the night. The 6 elements are what the state needs to prove to you beyond a reasonable doubt, okay? So first, count 1, first-degree intentional homicide. First, that the defendant caused the death of Shad, and that she, second, acted with intent to kill him, okay? And again, as I already mentioned, as we go through these elements.
Take your bra off and switch to this one now. This bra lifts your bust like no other. From this to this in 1 second. Low lift, mid, high, you control it, not gravity. Just hook it to your ideal level. You will.
I might have let that play for a little longer than I should have, but y'all, I'm always looking for that perfect bra, okay? I had to write down the name of it. Real world problems here, people. Real world problems. Oh my God.
Heard earlier this morning that the defendant is acknowledging every element that we hear, okay? Independent of the information you heard today, with the investigation you heard, the DNA, the other information, Dr. Tranquita's testimony, I would argue would prove all these elements as well. But you have on top of that the defendant's admissions to all these elements. Okay, so the defendant caused the death of Shad. I mean, that should be fairly clear here. Obviously, she admits that. You heard Dr. Tranquita's testimony of how Shad died, the cause and the manner of death, strangulation, excessive force being placed on the neck, producing his death. That was the sole cause of death that we heard. So let's talk about intent, right? because that admittedly sometimes is a tricky topic, right? We can never know anyone's intent truly. And as you're told, you're not going into the mind of somebody, right? Kind of looking at all the facts and circumstances that you see. In this case, you have the benefit of the defendant opening up her mind to you and telling you what her intent was here. But you also have other signs, right? So what does intent mean? That somebody had the mental purpose to do something, right? Some volition. Or that they're aware that what they're doing is practically certain to cause that result, right? And you heard both, really, from the defendant. So I want to walk through that because there's a lot of points in that interview where the defendant is telling you exactly what her intent was in this case, right? His face was turning purple, right? She describes that and how he's coughing up blood. And you know that's accurate, right? Because you heard Dr. Tranquita's testimony and you saw those photographs. She's seeing that in person, and yet what does she say? I still didn't stop. No, she felt a heartbeat at one point, right? She talks about feeling his heartbeat, and she kept pulling more, and he wouldn't die. And I just wanted him, and I was like, damn, right? She admits even that Shad's struggling in this moment, that he's fighting back, right? You heard from Dr. Tranquita as well about how it looked like at one point there were signs of that where the collar slipped up along the tongue. She's telling you, I was waiting for him to die. I liked it. She figured I'm already this far, and she's pantomiming the act. It's like she's starting a lawnmower. That's how hard she's pulling on this chain, right? Took 3 to 5 minutes, she thinks. And again, that's consistent with Dr. Tranquita, right? This is not an accident. This isn't a whoops. This is an intentional act, right? I don't need to prove that she went to that house with this intent, right? We talked about that in voir dire, and we kind of talked through that concept of how, as you're instructed, intent can be formed in the instant before an act, the instant before the pull of a trigger, the instant in this case, before Ms. ShaBusiness decides, I'm going to go further and pull on this chain so hard that it causes the result that we saw in Shad, right? So we have the mental purpose, right, from the defendant's own mouth, and that's consistent with everything else we're seeing in the case. But you also have Detective Kempf asking her, I mean, in that moment, did you kind of realize if you kept pulling on that chain that he would die? She's like, probably, yeah. Yeah, she was aware of that. Right, so that goes to this kind of the second either or part of intent, right? Was aware that her conduct was practically certain to cause that result, and it's probably obvious as you sit here of what's going to happen when you're pulling a metal chain like that hard for that long, seeing the result of what's happening to another person, that is going to be the result, right? So you're told you can't look into a person's mind. The defendant told you exactly what her intent was in this case. But as I mentioned, you also have other indicators, right? You have Dr. Tranquita's testimony describing the amount of force that would need to have been done to cause the injuries that he's observing, right? Down to the inner neck muscles, and he was talking about how strong and thick those neck muscles are, and there was hemorrhaging that deep. That's how hard and how long and how much injury the defendant was causing, right? This isn't an accident. If it's an accident, you're not going forward. You're not seeing this result and keep pulling. You're calling for help. You're stopping. You're certainly not after the fact, after you finally finish, then cutting up his body, right? You have all the evidence in this case points to intent, right? You have her acts after the fact, like I said. If this was an accident, something happens, right? You call for help, and you have the exact opposite. You have the defendant cutting him up and cleaning up, getting rid of the remains, pouring it down the shower. We heard a lot of testimony about that. Kind of wiping up with the Clorox wipes, which the defendant is acknowledging as well. So you have the defendant's statement in the case, and it lines up with everything else in the case, right? Even little facts that she's remembering and telling you about, right? The timeline of the February 21st night, right? We heard from AJ Gannon, you heard the stipulated testimony from Mr. Tomes, you heard from Mike Therian. It's all consistent. Yeah, they were coming and going. You then heard from Steve Hendricks about, yep, they got back sometime in the early morning and I let them in. Defendant's telling you that same thing. Steve is talking about how at one point during the day on the 22nd, she comes up and asks for her eyeglasses. And we heard the defendant talk about that as well. We heard Detective Graff testify about that. So everything she's saying is consistent with what we're objectively seeing, what law enforcement is finding. And in some respects, the defendant's leading the investigation, right? Because when they get there, when law enforcement gets there, we saw Officer Wanish's body cam. We heard from Detective Scanlon and even Dr. Tranquita about how it was really hard to determine what exactly happened when they first got there. And all that information is being provided by the defendant. Okay. So it's an intentional act. She had the mental purpose. We heard about that. It's not, as I talked about, it can be formed at any time before the act, right? It doesn't need to be premeditated. That's not the law in this state. And it's really important too to not confuse this with motive, right? We heard evidence about motive, right? And her interest in Jeffrey Dahmer and all that entails. But intent doesn't mean motive. This is what intent means. And we proved intent. Right? She caused his death and she acted intentionally and she told you as much. So those are the two elements. Those are the two things the state needs to prove beyond a reasonable doubt. Count two, mutilating a corpse. So again, there's two elements for this crime. First, the defendant dismembered a corpse. Second, did so with the intent to conceal a crime. So the first element, I think, is pretty clear, right? And we heard extensive testimony from many people, and we saw Dr. Tranquita's diagrams, and obviously I can't imagine this element is going to be in dispute, right? And so again, though, we have this concept of intent, the purpose to conceal a crime, right? And I mean, as you're instructed, you use your common sense. Like, why is somebody going to this length? Not only cutting up a body, we heard from Dr. Tranquita about the multiple sort of start and stop kind of signs, the total evisceration of Shad, bagging him into other bags and attempting to carry out. Like, that's the intent, right? We use our common sense that's why you're doing that. But again, she was asked about this, the defendant. Remember in that February 28th interview, the second interview with Detective Graff and Detective Scanlon, she's saying exactly what her intent was, right? It was because there's other people in the house. Like, what am I going to do? Leave the body and have mom find it? She admits, again, this was her intent, and it's obvious with our common sense, but it shows that the state has proved both elements of this crime as well. Okay. Count three, it's third degree sexual assault. So the defendant had sexual intercourse with Shad and did so without consent.
Behind every worn-out house is an opportunity to create income, build wealth, and impact your community.
So let's talk about the first part. Sexual intercourse is defined in this state as inserting any object into the genital or anal opening of another, or engaging in oral contact with the penis. We heard about both, right? The defendant admitted to both. She's talking about how she's put the dildo in Chad's anus after she killed him. She's talking about how she was sucking on his penis, and there were other phrases used to that effect. So again, we have, for both elements here, the defendant's admissions. And we heard from Mr. Scott, didn't we? We heard from Mr. Scott about the DNA testing that was done, right? And for some of the reasons why, even though the defendant's DNA is on that dildo in Shad's house, Shad's DNA wasn't found on there, and nothing excludes that possibility. And again, everything the defendant's telling you is consistent with other things you're seeing. So there's no reason to believe, a reasonable hypothesis to believe, that she's not also telling you what's happened in this case too, right, for this count. And the second element, did not consent. I mean, that, as you're instructed, is kind of inferred by the fact that at the time that the defendant's telling you she's engaging in these acts, that Chad's deceased, right? So he's not in a position to consent. Okay. So those are the two elements for count 3. So in total, 6 elements for the 3 offenses. And again, you're given a lot of law on how to assess credibility of witnesses, and that's good, and you should follow it. Really, you kind of just use your common sense as jurors. And again, the defendant's telling you what happened, and there's nothing in the case to disbelieve what she's saying, right? So you have the defendant's admissions, as I mentioned earlier. There's other evidence that kind of just only should bolster the conviction in the defendant's guilt, right? We heard from Kevin Scott, who heard or testified about the DNA testing he did. Shad's blood on the defendant's hands, on her clothing, on the sweatpants, about how the knives that were found had Shad's blood on them, right? Even absent her confession, I mean, there's ample evidence here to convict on all 3 counts. You have many witnesses coming in to talk about the integrity of the investigation, how law enforcement didn't just take the confession and go home, right? We do more, right? Send things in for DNA. We speak with other witnesses. We corroborate the defendant's timeline of things. You heard all that. And that's really important, right? We have the burden of proof. We talked about that, and we embrace that burden of proof. You should hold us to that standard as the state to prove something beyond a reasonable doubt. And that's why we call people from Madison to come up to talk for 5 minutes about, yeah, I received this piece of evidence and it was fine. And I returned that piece of evidence and it was fine, right? Because it's important. We want to show that law enforcement did a thorough investigation in this case. And they did. Because we have the burden of proof. You're instructed on what the burden of proof is and what it's not, right? It's a reasonable doubt, a reasonable hypothesis consistent with guilt, consistent with innocence. You should find the defendant not guilty. You're not searching for doubt. You're ultimately searching for the truth. So even if it's a heavy burden, it doesn't mean the decision is difficult in cases. You are instructed not to search for doubt. You're to search for the truth. And there's not a reasonable hypothesis in this case consistent with the defendant's innocence. There just isn't, right? There's one truth in this case. There's one side of the story, and it happens to be the defendant's story as well, but it's consistent with everyone else's story. It's because that story is the truth of what the defendant did to her friend Shad. And based on that, we would ask that you return guilty verdicts on all 3 counts. Thank you.
Mr. Ehrlich, are you ready to make a closing argument?
Yes, I am, Your Honor.
Very good. Go ahead.
Thank you. Your Honor, may it please the court, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, good morning. Mr. Lissay, Mr. Saunders, prosecutors for the state of Wisconsin. You're going to hear some testimony in this case from.
Whoop, nope, that's not it. Hold on just a minute. Let me get it. That is the opening. Let's get closing, defense closing arguments. Listen, we've already been there once.
I stopped
We're
washing
not
my
going
bed
back
sheets and my
over it.
life is so much
We're
better.
just
Here's
not.
why.
Hold on. Let me get past
Zoe
the.
from
Okay.
Your Honor, may it please the court, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, Mr. Lissay, Mr. Saunders. Well, as the attorney for the defendant, Taylor Denise ShaBusiness, I'd like to share with you that I believe this case is a puzzling, unclear, confusing, and bizarre set of facts. It is unknown what really happened between February 22nd of 2022 and February 23rd of 2022. What we do know in this case is that numerous law enforcement officers testified. We had detectives, we had police officers, we had Dr. Trankita, and DNA experts, forensic specialists, lots of different people, some citizen witnesses. I'd ask that you consider setting aside your emotions and decide this case based on the facts that have been presented. You've sat here for the last 3 days. You've been here in court. I know that you've listened very closely, but don't assume anything. When you deliberate about all of the facts. What we do know is that law enforcement officers on February 23rd of 2022 went to 829 Stony Brook Lane in Green Bay, this small Cape Cod home, and made contact with the occupants, Tara Pakinich, Stephen Hendricks, and Ava Wheelock was woken up, but they were all sitting at the kitchen table, and officers came in to see what was going on. There was a concern, obviously, that there was a bucket down at the end of the stairs. And we heard from Detective Groff that this was an ongoing investigation, law enforcement. They were trying to piece this together. It was an unusual situation. So they were trying to find out what happened. Unfortunately, I believe it was Officer Plonky and Officer Wanish, they testified, they came here and indicated that they went down to check out what was in the basement, and there was a head. It was the head of Shad Therian in that black fleet bucket. And the investigation continued on. But what I submit to you, ladies and gentlemen, is that there really are no eyewitnesses as to what really happened down in the basement. There is no Taytor ShaBusiness there, no other people there. And so that'll be something that you'll have to consider and think about. Then law enforcement realized that there was a secondary scene, and that was at 2353 Eastman Avenue, apartment 1 of that parking lot. And you saw the video. The officers, I think it was Officer Garth Russell, and a couple of other ones, they were walked up. Thank you. The officers walked up and they parked a distance away, and they walked up in the snow, and they saw a line of cars in front of the apartment complex. And they saw that a minivan. It was a gold Town and Country Chrysler minivan, and that was a vehicle of concern. Had some snow on the back windshield. There were vehicles on either side. And the officers walked up, and they heard or they saw some lights on the van. And then they saw someone come out the front door, and it was my client. It was Taytor ShaBusiness. At that point, she was arrested by Officer Russell, and another officer then realized there was a male inside of the apartment number 1 down the hall. Ended up being Scott Tomes, and he was told to lay on the ground and held at gunpoint, and then he was arrested. So 2 people were taken from the apartment building and taken down to the police station. There was a search of the Eastman Avenue apartment. We don't have any body parts there. I would submit that there really wasn't anything of evidentiary value there. And that was that. Later on, officers and detectives realized that minivan was something that they were concerned about, so that was taken down to the police storage garage. And then we found out that from Dr. Trankita and some of the other forensic specialists, Andre, I believe it was investigator Andre, and Zarnecki. And so they donned Tyvek gear, protective PPE equipment, and they methodically investigated the back of the minivan, and they found the crock pot box that was in a laundry basket sitting on a seat, and there were human remains in there. No Nobody saw Taytor ShaBusiness driving this minivan. So these are some of the facts that you got to think about. Don't rush to judgment, but talk about it, analyze it. As jurors, you have to analyze the facts that you hear and you have to apply the law that the judge gives you. It's a daunting task. So then we hear, you saw the video, the interview between Detective Groff and my client, Taytor ShaBusiness. She was taken down to the Green Bay Police Department. Photographs were taken of her, and clothes were taken, and she was put in a yellow suit and then later a blue suit, but she was asked questions. And you got to remember what she said and what questions were being asked. She did say during the interview, "I can't think right now. I'm effing nuts," she said.
Vaginal suppositories.
Never out of 10. It's like putting chapstick on your forehead and hoping that it reaches your lips.
Douching.
Negative 20 out of 10. Douching destroys your vagina's healthy microbiome, and it actually flushes bacteria up into your pelvis.
Scented panty liner.
That she was up all night, that the body.
We're also an educational show here. We believe in the total, I shouldn't, and I can't, and I won't, because I'm going to use filters at this point right here. Okay? Let's carry on.
Would rebuild itself. She said weird, odd things. Consider her credibility. Consider what she says. Consider what she said to Detective Groff or Detective Scanlon. She said stuff, I would submit that she said things that didn't make sense. She says, I have no idea to some of the questions that the detectives asked her. You remember seeing the video on the screen. I'd ask that you recall that she had inappropriate laughs, inappropriate smiling, odd responses. I would submit that she indicated that she did not have sex. She did not have penis to vagina intercourse with Shad Therian. She indicated that she came to the residence and they went downstairs, and within 5 minutes they got to it, whatever that means. She talked about, during the interview with Detective Groff, rebuilding muscle or rebuilding into muscle. Sometimes she wasn't responsive. She talked about hearing gunshots. But I believe Detective Groff said that there were no gunshots in the area of Stony Brook, Eastman Avenue, or some other place. She said she was paranoid. She said weird things like, I don't like open spaces. I don't like open spaces. No clothes came off. No kissing. She said that she allegedly put the dildo into Mr. Therian's backside, his butt area, his anal area. There's no DNA. We heard from Kevin Scott, DNA expert. He must have done real well in school, in chemistry and all that. But the swab from the dildo, item J1, it says the possible contribution of DNA from Shad Therian is inconclusive due to the complexity of the mixture. I would argue that his DNA is not on the dildo. So I would argue that even though the state is charging out third-degree sexual assault, there is no shred of evidence to support that particular charge. And I'd ask that you take that into account.
Join Planet Fitness for 1 cent down, $15 a month. No commitment. Deal ends Friday, April 10th.
Don't settle for less. Here's what others are doing to fix missing and broken teeth. The company everyone has been raving about is called Nuvia, with thousands of 5-star reviews and a 99.13.
No evidence at the Eastman Avenue apartment. When Detective Groff had my client come down to the Green Bay Police Department with Detective Kevin Kempf, they were talking with her for a while. The interview was maybe 3 hours or so. And then they took a break because Miss ShaBusiness had cuts on her thumb, scratches on her palms, other cuts on her fingers. Some of them were deep. You saw the pictures because I believe they were published. And she was taken over to St. Vincent's Hospital for medical evaluation. I would submit that the blood on her hands may have been her own because of the deep cuts that she had suffered or that she had. The defense had subpoenaed Mr. Scott Tomes. He was unavailable, and he gave an account of that night. And he had indicated, at least on Monday night, that would have been February 21st, that Taylor ShaBusiness and her friend Shad came over. He had seen Shad before, but didn't know his name. Then he thought that they hooked up to do meth. And then he talked about his vehicle. And he talked about that Taylor ShaBusiness had used his vehicle in the past and didn't get permission on that particular night. Then he indicated that he was drinking. And then he indicated that Taylor ShaBusiness returned to his house around midnight with his vehicle, went to her bedroom, and he had a suspicion that she may have been high on drugs. And then he had indicated that Taylor had the bedroom and that he would sleep in his chair. So that's, something else that you have to think about. We heard from Lieutenant Buckman. He was a veteran on the Green Bay Police Department, and that he was doing some investigating, and he wasn't sure if Taylor ShaBusiness was a suspect or a victim because it was an ongoing new investigation. So that's something you have to take into account as well. The state brought up some photographs, a picture of Taylor with her phone, and young girls, I submit, they like their phones. So do all kids, young people. They like their phones, and they look up things on the internet for a variety of different reasons: shock value, curiosity. But we have a situation here where Taylor did do some searches about Jeffrey Dahmer. I would submit that that's a ruse, that doesn't necessarily mean anything, and that people search the internet for all kinds of things on the internet, and that it's for shock value. So that shouldn't really play any part in this case. I would ask that you discount that and set that aside. Now, I would argue that I would argue that it's not a clear case here. Was this an accidental death? Did Taylor ShaBusiness kill Shad Therian? Was there intent to kill Shad Therian? Did Taylor ShaBusiness have the mental purpose to kill Shad Therian? Different theories, different things for you to think about. You are all like analysts, and you have to assess and decipher the facts. The facts here are very complicated, confusing, unclear. 2 different locations, no eyewitnesses. Taylor ShaBusiness, we learned that she went to school with Shad Therian, middle school, Bayport High School. They were friends. They hung out. You heard from AJ Gannon. He hung out with them as well. Can you trust?
Okay. The first verdict reads as follows. We, the jury, find the defendant, Taylor Denise ShaBusiness, guilty of first-degree intentional homicide as charged in count 1 of the information, dated this date, July 26th, 2023, signed by the foreperson. The second verdict reads as follows. We, the jury, find the defendant, Taylor Denise ShaBusiness, guilty of mutilating a corpse as charged in count 2 of the information, dated this date, July 26th, 2023, signed by the foreperson.
Hold on. I was sitting here listening to this and I was like, hold on. Whoa. While I would love to get through this as well, that's the very next thing that I have up to play, but I wanted to stop it before it started that, and let y'all know that it was coming up. Damn, y'all, just when I think I'm getting professional, then this shit happens. But to tell you the truth, I was sitting in the garage with my headphones on and my phone in my hand watching y'all, and I was smoking and I couldn't get back here in time. Trish, thank you so much for your view. We appreciate it, but that is not the topic right now. Okay. Let's try to stay on topic here. Hi, Gia. I'm very much fond of the related crime investigation. I always come and watch your videos. Gia, that is so kind. Thank you so much. I appreciate everybody. We do me a favor. The only thing I ever ask this channel is if you hit the thumbs up for me, because I really believe that the algorithm will push us out there, and the people who like this kind of content and my crazy ass self and my stupid other content and all the shit that I do, my people are gonna find me. And I'm not talking about my people like I own you guys. I'm talking about like-minded people who dig my shit. I just believe it. So that's all I ever ask of this channel. Don't need your money. If you want to subscribe, I appreciate that, but I'm not going to ask you to do it. All I'm asking, begging, is just hit the thumbs up for me. I try to get 100 every time we go live, and believe me, people are finding us, and I'm grateful. I'm grateful. All right, let's get back to this. Let's get into. I clipped a lot of stuff. Let's get into her being sentenced. And then we're going to go on and I'm going to show you. Dig shit. I dig shit. All right, let's get back to this. Let's listen to and watch her stupid ass face as she is being read the jury's, which we already know she was convicted. Hi, Rose. Good to see you, love bug. Thank you for being here. All right, let's go.
Okay. First verdict reads as follows. We, the jury, find the defendant, Taylor Denise ShaBusiness, guilty of first-degree intentional homicide as charged in count 1 of the information, dated this date, July 26th, 2023, signed by the foreperson. The second verdict reads as follows. We, the jury, find the defendant, Taylor Denise ShaBusiness, guilty of mutilating a corpse as charged in count 2 of the information, dated this date, July 26th, 2023, signed by the foreperson. The next verdict reads, we, the jury, find the defendant, Taylor Denise ShaBusiness, guilty of third-degree sexual assault as charged in count 3 of the information, dated this date, 26th day of July, 2023, signed by the foreperson. The verdicts appear to be in order.
And that's all I have to say about that. And that's all they say too. That happened in July, you guys, July, that the verdict came down. And then it waited all the way until September before she was actually sentenced. And I think that had to do with some motions that were filed because they still wanted her to be the convictions thrown out due to her being deranged and insane at the time. Listen, if y'all heard me when I first started this, she clearly is not insane. When they were interviewing her just 8 months ago, they asked her, do you think you should have went on the run? And she said, yeah, a smart person or somebody in their right mind would have went on the run. I should have went on the run instead of staying here. Listen, y'all, no one sane person is going to think that way. No one sane person is going to think, oh, I'm going to cut this head off right here, and I'm going to take it with me. And then you sit around and you're staring at your handiwork and all the shit, and you're like, nah, I don't feel like it now. So you just take another body part with you, right? No one sane person thinks like that. No one sane person cuddles with a body for 2 to 3 hours and then starts doing the weird, funky shit and all that. And so no, the whole insane thing didn't work for me. So her sentencing was in September. So then for just the murder charge, which Wisconsin does not have, y'all, I'm in here sweeping my floors while I'm talking to you, but I can't stand looking at these damn floors. It's a thing with me. So anyways, she was given a life sentence without parole. That is the highest sentence that can be given in the state of Wisconsin. Listen, you Wisconsin people, y'all do better, okay? I am a proponent for the death penalty. Come at me if you want to. Come on up on my panel. We'll have a discussion about the death penalty. And listen, if they don't get the death penalty and it's been completely proven that their own word is true when they said, yeah, I killed him. I'm the one that did it. And I did all those other things that I'm accused of too. And if it's been proven to be factual, then I don't know about you guys, but I don't want to pay to feed them. I don't care if they live a long life. Matters not to me. Get them out of here. I'm done. Put them over on an island. Listen, I think all offenders that are murderous and they cannot be rehabilitated at all. Listen, take them and all these pedophiles out here, and I need them to go on Epstein's Island. All right. And then I want to be in the aircraft. We're going to put them all on this island together, right? Nobody else is there but these fuckers that fuck with children and these people that for some reason you states can't get them off the earth. And I know this is hardcore and people don't like hearing this, but I don't give a damn. It's my channel. I'm going to say what I want. Anyways, hear me out here. I want them all put on this Epstein Island by themselves, right? And then I'm going to fly over with a really good looking pilot that's got like really cool aviators on and shit. And I'm going to start dropping weapons down on the island. It's just going to be dropped on the island. Listen, last man standing wins and gets a steak dinner. And you guys got about 18 hours to figure that shit out. I just want one man standing or woman. Listen, I'm pretty sure ShaBusiness here, she could take out some men. I'm not too worried about it. Give her a knife and homegirl's got everything she needs. That's what I think. Y'all don't want me over the judicial system because, listen, your tax dollars and my tax dollars damn sure are not going to pay for people like this, nor people who harm children. I have a problem. See, I'm now I'm on a tangent. I have a sincere problem that our court system here in the United States locks up people who put a needle in their arm and other stuff down their throat, their own selves, for life without the possibility of parole. But yet we are giving pedophiles who harm children, people who kill people like this, that's overkill 50 million times, we're giving them life and they get a chance at parole and some of them get out. And then when we overpopulate our penitentiaries and our jail system and stuff like that, who are the first people to get out? You already know. Sexual offenders are the first people that are let out. Y'all, that's fucked up. That's wrong. We're thinking wrong. And I don't know who came up with this situation. I'm pretty sure it was a pedophile himself who signed off that this is the way that we should be doing things. But listen, I would much rather have some dude or some dudette who wants to put a needle in their arm and wants to stay high or stay drunk. They ain't hurting nobody else but themselves. Listen, I'd much rather go ahead and pardon them and let them out on the streets than to be letting these other fools out that they're doing. But that's what we do here in the good old US of A. Listen, I'm a patriot, y'all. I love my country. Don't come in here and start talking shit. But there are some things that we could do better, and we need to start with the judicial system because we got it fucked up. We're not protecting kids. We're not protecting our elderly. We're not protecting people. It's just disgusting to me. All right, now I'm sitting back down at this desk because if I went into that tangent, which I did, obviously, I didn't want to see chat. And the reason why I didn't want to see chat is because someone might piss me off. And if you piss me off, then it gets, oh, I'm terrible. I'm a terrible person. Oh, I'm terrible. They'll let you know. They will let you know. So I didn't read chat that whole time, you guys. Because someone always has something smart ass to say that hasn't thought this through. Or, the ones that I think that have, like things to say, a different way of thinking than the way that I think, obviously hasn't had any kind of sexual assaults in your family, and I'm not saying I do, and I'm not saying I don't, because that's nobody's business but mine. But what I am saying is, whether I do or I don't, I still believe in protecting innocent people that can't protect themselves. Well, hello, little girl. Did y'all hear me just, It's because my 80-pound-year-old dog just jumped up on my boob. Anyways, so there's that. And that's how I'm going to end that. Well, Melinda, I do have to say this. I don't know how much you guys are reading or know about what's going on in the news, you guys. I am floorboarded. Okay. A floorboarded, like just knock the breath out of me, throw me on the floor, spit on me, kick me, and I'm just gone at how many clergymen are being put into jail, prison nowadays for crimes against kids in their churches, their parishes, their synagogues, their whatever you want to call those places, right? The one place besides your own home that we should not have to worry about our babies is in some kind of holy building. And yet here we are. We've got a man that he's a preacher I'm not going to give a denomination because listen, I'm not talking about denominations here. I'm not getting into that with you guys tonight. Look, I don't care who you are, you're a person, and I don't care what kind of faith you follow. That's on you. And I don't think that one denomination is worse than the other when it comes to pedophilia. If you've got one person in your denomination that is doing crimes against children, then you're just as bad as the one over there that's got 30. One is enough to be pissed off about, and I'm pissed off. Anyways, I read tonight that he did 7 years. He was a pastor, and he was accused of child SA to a 7-year-old boy, and he only got 7 years. 7. So weird because that's 7 is God's perfect number, but I was disgusted by it. I was like, you couldn't find not one dude in there that is still having withdrawals. We could put him on the street and he'd be all right. You know what I mean? You're going to put that dude, that guy right there out in the community. We're fucked up people. Fucked it up completely. It just makes me so mad. I just want to shake people. I seriously do. So that's that. Is that Grinch still? Yes. Is it still Grinch instead of Tashi? Is she still in the dentist chair? All right. So the other thing I wanted to play for you guys is not that. I just pulled this one up. Oh, that's me. That's why I've got two tabs open. One is YouTube and one is StreamYard. Okay. So the other thing I was going to play was her other, I still am, I think. Let me see. Because I want you guys to see this, why she went back to court here recently. Hold on. Taylor ShaBusiness gives the business to a deputy inside the pen and a nurse. And I had it pulled up. That's the one that is actually the one that I said I exited out of on accident. Hold on just a second. Okay, maybe this is it. Let's see. Give me just a second, you guys. Give me just a second. Close that. All right, let's play this. So she ended up getting charged with battery. Oh, let me go back just a little bit. So she got life without parole for the murder of Shad Therion. And then she ended up getting 10 more years to be served consecutively for the sexual assault and the other thing. I forget. She was charged with 3 counts. All 3 she was guilty of. So then, Taylor started giving people in the pen some ShaBusiness, y'all. And so she had to be brought back into court for this. So let's take a look at this. Against, I mean, at this point, who cares what she does, right? She's already got life in prison without the possibility of parole. This bitch can do whatever the hell she wants to anybody she wants to. She can do another murder in there. And what are they going to do to her? Keep just adding another life sentence? I mean, at some point, you just got to put her in. I don't know if she's in general population, and I don't know how tough you people over there in Wisconsin are, but I'll tell you what, go ahead and put her up here in Terre Haute, Indiana, that where we had Dahmer waiting on the death penalty, and a guard turned his back. And he got some jailhouse justice. So let's go ahead and bring Taylor over to Terre Haute. We'll have her go in to do a job. Everybody turn your back, and then this will be over. We don't have to worry about it anymore. Because as it stands right now, and it's not even turning your back on this bitch. You're sitting beside her. She's going to take you out if she wants to. DJ says, hey, Lainey, what draws you? Hey, Lainey. What draws you to these cases? Curiosity or disappointment? Probably all of the above. You know, I have a morbid personality. I really do. I have a morbid curiosity, and I just love everything. And then once I get attached, I can't stop until I'm done. Melly Joe, good to see you, Love Bug. Thank you so much for being here. Everybody else, hiya. Thank you for coming in. I appreciate you. Will you do me a favor and just hit the thumbs up for me? Double tap your screen. I'd appreciate that so much. The guards turn their back on purpose. Oh, hell yeah. I'd be turning my back all the time. I'd be picking my nose or lifting my bra up and situating my boobs again for the 50th time. I would be doing something that I couldn't be bothered to pay attention to the person. I must be real. All right, let's take a look at this, guys. Let me pull this up. And this is going to happen for the rest of her life. in and out of the prisons, in and out of jail, in and fuck me, in and out of the courthouse that you guys are paying for. Here we go. Let me make sure this is as big as you guys could see it. And y'all watch your volume because I can't control that for you. But let's take and watch her as she comes in and her little stupid shit she does. God, she works my nerves, y'all. She works my nerves. Come on, just play it.
State of Wisconsin versus Taytor ShaBusiness, case number 24 CF 1048. Appearances.
Good morning, Your Honor. District Attorney Tony and ADA Krieger for the state.
Taytor ShaBusiness is personally present. She's in custody currently with Attorney Curtis Jelka.
Are we in victim rights compliance?
We are, Your Honor.
We are set here for a preliminary hearing. Attorney Jelka, what is the status?
Your Honor, I have met with Ms. ShaBusiness. We're requesting under Wisconsin stats, section 971.14, that she be evaluated by a psychologist or psychiatrist.
And that's based on your personal observations?
Correct.
Is there any objection from state?
Not under these circumstances.
Well, I would note that the court has reviewed the criminal complaint. They would find there's probable cause for purposes of suspending the proceedings to allow for a competency evaluation to be done. We'll order that competency evaluation is done by the department and that we will hold a hearing upon its return. It's my understanding Ms. ShaBusiness would like to be present. We'll have her present for all required hearings. Is there anything else from the state?
No, I believe the court indicated it found probable cause from the complaint.
I did.
Nothing additional, thank you.
Defense?
Nothing else, thank you.
All right, with that, we are adjourned.
Turn this back on. Hold on just a second. Let me get this smaller. No, we don't want to hear it again. Thank you so much. Let's see if this is. I'm just reading this really quick to find out where I am. Not that one. Let's see. Give me just a second, guys. Let's take a break. You guys get up, stretch your legs. If you want to, get you something to drink. Go pee and get you a sick break or something. Let me find this. This is what I had clicked off on my screen, and I want to really show it to you guys. It shows her attack inside the jail where she attacks a guard and one of the nurses there in jail. And I want to show that to you. Lou Cooey, Sister Cooey. All right, let's take a break really quick, guys. Give me just a moment.
Lingy's got a channel, it's a wild affair. Maggie co-hosts with a comical flair. Prayers and laughter fill the air. Jumping jacks and goofy stares. Families gather around the glowing screen. Hilarity's a cocktail where we dream. Maggie's jokes are a meme machine. Turns our blues to yellow and green. Lingy needs a smoke break, light it up. Life spins crazy, but we fill our cup. Laughter's the anthem, turn it up. We're said with love, it's more than enough. Impromptu vibes like morning light. Creating joy in the middle of the night. Smoke breaks, just a moment of quiet fight. Back to fun, to the crazy side. Tick tock, time flies by with Maggie's jokes that reach the sky. Lingy grins with a happy sigh. Happiness streaming, no need to cry. Lingy needs a smoke break, light it up. Life spins crazy, but we fill our cup. Laughter's the anthem, turn it up. We're said with love, it's more than enough. Impromptu vibes like morning light. Creating joy in the middle of the night. Smoke breaks, just a moment of quiet fight. Present with love, it's more than enough. Impromptu vibes like morning up. Life spins crazy, but we fill our cup. Laughter's the anthem, turn it up. Present with love, it's more than enough. Impromptu vibes like morning light. Light and joy in the middle of the night. Laughter's the anthem, turn it up. Present with love, it's more than enough. Impromptu vibes like morning love. Leanie's got a channel, it's a wild affair. Maggie co-hosts with a comical flair. Prayers and laughter fill the air. Jumpin' jacks and goofy stares. Families gather around the glowing screen. Hilarity's a cocktail where we dream. Maggie's jokes are a mean machine. Turns our blues to yellow and green. Leanie needs a smoke break, light it up. Life spins crazy, but we fill our cup. Laughter's the anthem, turn it up. Present with love, it's more than enough. Impromptu vibes like morning light. Creating joy in the middle of the night. Smoke breaks, just a moment of quiet fight. Back to fun, to the crazy side. Tick tock, time flies by with Maggie's jokes that reach the sky. Leanie grins with a happy sigh. Happiness streaming, no need to cry. Leanie needs a smoke break, light it up. Life spins crazy, but we fill our cup. Laughter's the anthem, turn it up. Present with love, it's more than enough. Impromptu vibes like morning light. Creating joy in the middle of the night. Smoke breaks, just a moment of quiet fight. Present with love, it's more than enough. Impromptu vibes like morning up. Life spins crazy, but we fill our cup. Laughter's the anthem, turn it up. Present with love, it's more than enough. Impromptu vibes like morning light. Light and joy in the middle of the night. Laughter's the anthem, turn it up. Present with love, it's more than enough. Impromptu vibes like morning love.
Okay, that was some absurdity. Sorry about that. I think I found it. All right. Hold on. Yep, I found it. Okay, let me stop it right there so you guys can see it. All right, this is what she had to go back to court for the latest time for attacking a prison guard inside. She had a staple in her hand or something, and they were removing it, and of course she lost her shit again. It's going to happen over and over and over again. And so I'm going to show you guys that, and then we're going to go inside the courthouse because I want you guys to see when she offers an apology for that, and so you get to hear her offer the apology for it, and then they sentence her again. But I mean, what difference does it make? What difference does it make that they're sentencing her? All right, give me a second. Let me share this. All right, this is shown in court, you guys. Nobody got a copy of it, so everybody who has shown this on YouTube or any news stations or whatever, they've just zoomed into the TV that was shown in court. So that's what we're watching right now. All right, watch your ears, guys. Here we go. Don't know why it's not playing the audio. The other one I have played in audio. Hold on. Maybe it's going to play it after here. So obviously it's a body cam that we're looking at from the guard. Okay, so that's not playing the audio. Maybe I've got it turned off. Let me see. No, I've got it on. Oh, I did have it turned off. Okay, let's try it again. Let me make sure you guys can see it full screen there. Let me put it up by itself. No, that's the best I could do, guys. We're just gonna have to zoom in. Zoom in. All right, here we go.
I'm telling you, I will give this woman credit. She is very creative. Very creative, for sure. Stop resisting. Stop. Stop resisting. No. Yes, now. Spray her. Spray her. Spray what's being deployed. North Room between RHO. Stop! Stop resisting! Get out of the way.
I know. And
All right, I'm gonna stop it right there because we're gonna hear this at her sentencing. Y'all, that's gonna happen over and over and over. Was she ever in trouble? Yeah, she had an ankle monitor on when she killed that Shad Therion. In and out. Listen, we know she comes from. So what we know about her life is that her grandmother raised her because, for the most part, because her mother left her father and her when she was a little girl. And then she was a drug addict too. She left. Dad was always in and out of jail. In fact, he was in prison whenever Taylor went to trial. And so he was always in and out of prison for drug dealings and stupid shit that he does. I don't know if he's still there or not. Taylor did get married, and at the time of the murder as well, she was still married. And she has at the time of the hearing, she had a 2-year-old little boy, which breaks my heart the most for. So grandma, her grandmother, we know is still got custody of Taylor ShaBusiness's little boy, and I hope they've changed his name for his own protection. Good to see everybody. Thank you for being here in chat. So let's go over and take a look at the court proceedings. Now, you may, there are different times that Taylor has showed up to court. And at one point, it may be this one, I can't remember, that she shows up with the spit guard on. Well, the spit guard also, you guys, prevents her from being able to bite. So if she does go for the attack, which she's going to come in here strapped to this chair, so she tries to attack somebody, the chair is going to be on her ass. So that's kind of almost impossible, but I don't trust this woman. I think she can do anything. I think she's superhuman. But anyways, in many of the court proceedings, you see her with that shield thing. It looks just like I don't know, almost like a balaclava, but it doesn't have the holes in the mouth in it. And it's got chains on it on the inside that you can't see. So when if she goes to bite somebody, then it's going to hurt. So that's why that's there. I'm not sure if she's going to come into court with that this time, but listen, this is going to be an ongoing thing. It's going to be an ongoing thing, and I'm sorry for that. All right, let's remove that. Put this one up here. This is Court TV, you guys. Again, this is my source, Court TV, and this is only 14 minutes. But watch her as she's being wheeled in, you guys. She's just bad. She's terrible. She's terrible. That's all I know how to say it. She's just terrible. Watch your ears. Here we go.
The court will call 24 CF 1048, State of Wisconsin versus Taylor ShaBusiness appearances.
The state appears by Assistant District Attorney Tessa Button.
Your Honor, Attorney Christopher T. Freilich appears today with the defendant Taylor D. ShaBusiness.
All right, this matter is set for a sentencing hearing today. Previously, Ms. ShaBusiness had entered a plea to an amended count of disorderly conduct. We then set it for a sentencing hearing today. Is the state prepared to proceed to sentencing?
Yes, Your Honor.
And is the defense?
Yes, Your Honor.
Ms. Button, are we in compliance with victims' rights?
We are.
Go ahead.
Thank you, Your Honor. I do intend to play the video if you give me just one moment here.
Sure.
Make sure the sound's working.
What is that in your ears? What is I'm telling you, I will give this woman credit. She is very creative. Very creative, for sure.
Stop now! Stop resisting! Stop! Stop resisting! No! Yes, now! Spray her! Spray her! Spray! Let's see the boy! North Room! Between RHO! Stop! Stop resisting! Get out of the way.
And I'm going to give the jump drive to the clerk so that can be part of the record. And I apologize, I did stop this at 2:35 and I started it at approximately, it was about 2:33 or so.
All right.
Who the hell is this guy?
That's somebody else for a different case. Thank you. No, that's just this. That's nothing with our case.
As far as argument, go ahead.
I'm sorry, what was that, Judge?
Your argument?
Thank you. Obviously, when we look at these kinds of cases as it relates to violence within prisons and jails, they are serious, whether it be violence toward other inmates or correctional staff. Other staff deserve to be able to go to work without being injured and without being scared of being injured. And I know the victim in this matter wanted me to inform the court that as a result of this, she was not able to return to work due to some injuries that were obtained as a result of the incident with Ms. ShaBusiness, and that due to the long-term effects, it would have been able to affect her being able to do her job as a corrections officer. And so she wanted me to share that with the court, that as a result, she was not able to return to work. And so it is serious when we look at that. Obviously, with Ms. ShaBusiness's background as it relates to the fact that she is in prison for life due to a first-degree intentional homicide conviction out of Brown County from 2023, as well as a mutilation of a corpse and third-degree sexual assault. Any sentence she receives here, essentially, she's already in prison for life. So it's not as though it would add essentially additional time. However, it does need to send a message that whether you're in prison for life, whether you're not in prison for life, that violence against staff members in prison, violence against other inmates will not be tolerated. And so I would ask the court to impose a 90-day jail sentence. That's the max. Whether it's consecutive or concurrent, obviously she's in prison for life. But when we look at the seriousness of this, I think it's important to send that message. And so other convictions include felony fleeing, resisting, obstructing from 2020, and a 2020 conviction for battery or threat to a law enforcement officer. Thank you, Your Honor.
Mr. Freilich.
Thank you very much, Your Honor. Taytor ShaBusiness, I believe, is 28 years old. She was born in Evanston, Illinois, moved with family to Green Bay, Wisconsin in 2008. I believe in 2021, she lived with her grandparents and then came back to Wisconsin in January of 2022. I think Taylor ShaBusiness is of average intelligence. I think she's got adequate written and verbal skills. I think she can think and act on her own. She did attend Bayport High School from September of 2012 to December of 2014 in Green Bay. Then she went to live with her grandparents and went to high school at Cotulla High School in Texas from January of 2015 to June of 2016, and she graduated. She excelled in science. She liked economics. She liked physical education, social studies. She's had different jobs in the past, notably Saputo Cheese from 2017 to 2020. I know that she told me that she was certified as a forklift driver, and she would she worked in the sanitation department for some different companies. Obviously, at this time, she's serving out a life sentence at Tachita Correctional Institution. Now that she's off of drugs, I think that she's able to think a lot more clearly. I think she's sober, and I think she's able to maybe possibly participate in some programming. I think she's a dual diagnosis person, Your Honor. I think she's got some severe mental health issues, and she's got some severe AODA issues or drug addiction issues, and she could benefit from some treatment. I believe that she's been in custody since February 22nd of 2022. She's had a lot of time here to be sober, be drug-free, be free from the grips of meth. I know that she's got a lot of family in Texas and Ohio that care about her. And I think my client does want to become a better person. Certainly, whatever happened here at the correctional facility was difficult, was inappropriate on her part, but July 24th, 2024, she asked for access to care because of a staple in her arm. I don't know how that happened, how that got there. And then a nurse came in and she was told that she had to get up on the table in the medical room. And then at some point, the tray was grabbed. My client was then pushed to the floor. She told me that she had OC spray in her face. But regardless of what happened here, I think my client realizes that she could have avoided this and she should have handled things a lot more differently. But this lady she's been through a lot in her life. I know that she struggles with the loss of her mom, Marla, who passed away in 2009. And she had a brother, Arturo J. Coronado, AJ. He died in a motorcycle accident, I think in July of 2022. So, and I looked at all kinds of other records from the prior case and from this case. I think my client does have some depression issues, some other mental health issues that, she needs a professional to help her work through. I think she needs some treatment. I think she's got maybe some PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder. I don't think she's a throwaway. I think she's someone who needs some attention. And I know that I think counseling can help her overcome some of the maybe the anger issues and other issues that she has going on in her life. But I think she did get scared. I think she was afraid when the nurse started to take that staple out of her arm. And I think my client knows that she should not have done what she did. But, when a staple or stitches or anything is removed from your arm, it could cause pain. And it may have been a reaction to pain, not really sure. But the resolution here has been a disorderly conduct misdemeanor offense. I'd ask for you to consider 10 days jail concurrent to any other sentence and pay court costs. Thank you.
All right. Ms. ShaBusiness, you have a right to address the court. It's called your right of allocution. Is there anything you want to tell the court before you pronounce sentence?
Well, I ain't no retard, and I didn't mean to go off on that bitch like that at all. And I'm sorry for that, how it came off like that. It didn't mean to happen that way, and it shouldn't have. And I should get 10 days at least on the bracelet or something like that.
All right. The court is supposed to consider three things at sentencing: the seriousness of the offense, the need to protect the public, and your character, what kind of treatment needs that you may have. As far as the seriousness of the offense goes, it's a assaultive behavior in a confined setting, in a prison setting. It's serious for that. It was amended down to disorderly conduct. I think that amendment probably adequately addresses the facts of the case and takes into consideration your agreement to enter a plea to that count. But again, it's serious because the incident happens in what should be a secure setting. Not only is it a place that people are being housed, taken from society, but there's COs that work there. There's medical staff that works there. There's social workers that work there, and they should be protected as well. The need to protect the public, miss your business. Due to your current situation, the public at whole maybe doesn't need to be protected from you. But as I said, the other inmates and the workers at Tachita, they should be protected from you. And so this kind of behavior is inappropriate, and it's dangerous. It's dangerous to yourself as well. You could have been hurt, seriously injured, or anybody else that's involved in the situation. I do know you're here to take responsibility for your actions. I give you credit for that. I think that goes to your character. I also think that your willingness to accept responsibility played a part in the state's amendment from a felony to a misdemeanor. And so I think that's addressed in that regard. Given all that, given the maximum penalty you face potentially is 90 days in jail or $1,000 fine, the court does find a maximum sentence is probably appropriate. The court will sentence you to 90 days in the Fond du Lac County Jail. That'll be consecutive to any other sentence. Miss your business. You have a right to appeal my decision. You go over that with your attorney. I would just ask you to sign that paperwork and file it with the court before you leave. I don't believe that she would have any credit. Is that correct, Mr. Freilich?
That's correct.
Given she's serving a sentence. Okay.
Yes.
Anything else from the state?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Freilich, anything?
No, nothing further.
Miss your business. Do you understand your sentence? Do you have any questions about it?
I'll do the other than 90 days.
Okay. I would just ask you, Mr. Freilich, if you'll go over the appeal paper with her and file it with the court before you leave. Okay.
I will, Your Honor. Thank you.
All right. With that, we are adjourned. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
I don't know where I'm at. Oh, there I am. Hi. I don't, this just irritates me. Does it irritate you? Does it? Oh, I'm so irritated. Golly. She's just going to keep doing this over and over and over again. You guys already know my, how I would handle the situation if I was over all this. I'd probably be put in prison myself for even wanting to do this. But why? I don't understand. I guess I never will. I never will. This makes no sense to me. And at this point, why are we paying for her public defender? Why? I ain't no retard. I don't want to pay for her a public defender. Let her go in there and defend herself. Why? Oh, goodness gracious, y'all. Now I'm just good and shitty. I need a pill. She was extremely good at leaning those pipes. I remind from high school. Don't know anything about that, boy. A, I didn't make it to high school. And B, I don't think I've ever done anything on the leaning on pipes or nothing like that. Well, one time there was this one time, but that's only because I surrounded myself with people who are bad influences on me on the internet. But it was a good time though. But listen, when she attacked inside that little nursing room or whatever, the nurse was yelling spray. Y'all are being sickening, but it's just funny. She was like, spray. I don't need anybody to laugh with me because I laugh at my own damn self, but the nurse was yelling, spray her in the face. I got nothing. I got nothing. And she deserved it. Listen, I'm gonna tell y'all a real quick story, okay? I was pregnant with my first child. And I told y'all we used to move before I was pregnant. Before I was married the first time. We used to move every time the rent came due. We're gypsies. Okay. And so we used to move every time the rent came due. Well, got pregnant. And then my oldest sister was already pregnant, married. And we had to go back to one of the places that we used to stay at. Not my older sister. Once she got married, she was gone. But me and my other two siblings and my mom. And for some reason, we had to go back over to this house of this lady that we were living with to go pick up something that was left. I don't remember if we were doing it for my mom or I don't remember why we were doing it, but we were doing it. So when we pulled up on the street, you guys, there were police cars everywhere. And this was in El Paso, Texas. And there were police cars everywhere. And whatever it was important, like that we had to get it. So I don't know if it was someone's medication or whatever. That's a long time ago. And so my brother-in-law and my sister were in the front seat. I was in the back seat. And my brother-in-law was in the service. I don't know where my husband was or why he wasn't with us. But anyways, because he was also in the service. So he might have had duty or something, because believe you me, he didn't let me out of his sight. But anyways, so we didn't have no choice. We had to get to that house. And we knew that the police were like right across the street of that house, because they were like, they had that house quarantined off, and then police were walking in and out, and it was dark. And so my brother-in-law parked the car down at the end of the street, and we were just going to walk up there, going to the lady's house who we used to live with, get whatever it was, and then leave, right? No big deal. It's none of our business what's going on, right? Well, we started walking, and I'm not kidding you. We got maybe 3 steps in, and I was like, oh my God, my eyes are burning and my nose is itching. And my sister was like, what is that? Like, I'm itching too. And my brother-in-law just stopped. He's like, get back in the car. Let's just go back to the car. And we're like, what is going on? The air was real thick. My eyes were burning. It was hard to breathe. It was like my skin felt like it was on fire. And he's like, get back in the car. We're both pregnant. And so we got in the car, and he was real quiet, and he just backed out of the street and then started driving and rolled down the windows to get the smell out. And we were like, what is that? And he said, it's tear gas. And he said, it's the same stuff that the military uses when we go through, our training and basic training. They put us, they always tell you about going through the gas. And he said, it's the same stuff as that. He said, the cops use it. They throw it in the house, and people will come out of that house. And I was like, so I've been tear gassed before, y'all. That stuff is no joke. It's no joke. So then and I guess when we got home at some point, and then my husband were talking about it. Like I said, they're both in the military, and we were both good and pregnant. And my sister and they decided we were going to go straight to the emergency room and make sure that the babies were okay. I felt fine, and I didn't like the emergency room. I was scared. But I was very, very young. And but they made us go to the emergency room, and they did all the vitals, listened to the baby's heartbeat. They're like, they're fine. Just, So, but y'all, that shit's no joke. So if you've ever been tear gassed, woo, and I don't even understand. Look, I'm only 14 years old, okay, at the time. My brother-in-law was 20 years old. So he should have known better than to have us walking up the side of the street where there's cops everywhere anyways. He was the adult and my sister was the adult in the situation. I was not, but I just thought it was cool because I think because of the way that we grew up in the whole cop situation and all of the gangs and all the bullshit that we've been through, like stuff like that didn't ever scare us. So we never thought, anyways, dumb, young, and full of babies. That's what we were. Anyways, y'all just don't walk up this. If the police have got the street, blocked off, don't go up there. You don't know what's going on up there. I mean, there could have been guns or anything. Anyways, babies came out fine. Everything was fine. Josh, hello. Good to see you. Not bad. Never can be too careful. Good to see everybody. Thank you guys so much for being here. Listen, I'm not going to stay on late tonight because I got too much sleep today, which was like 6 hours broken up, like I told you guys. And I didn't get done what I need to get done, which is I've got to I got to finish painting the trim around my bedroom because I painted it the most beautiful yellow color. Not that you guys care. I know you don't care. I painted it the most beautiful color, yellow. And once I get that done, my new curtains came in today, and I'm super excited tomorrow to decorate. I miss you too, Josh. Hope everybody's doing good. Thank you guys so much for being here. I know this hasn't been a long one, but it's been 2 hours. I can't believe it's been 2 hours. So tomorrow night, you guys, I will not be on. I've got some things I got to get figured out. And then I got to figure out a schedule of what I'm doing for between YouTube and my IRL because I've got to go out of town. And so I'll figure all that out. Now I may do a live tomorrow afternoon sometime with Maggie, but we'll just have to see. So what am I doing on Sunday? That's a good question. We were supposed to we usually have our Easter family dinner over at C. Some of you guys know my oldest daughter comes in here sometime, and her name is C. And usually she hosts Easter, but C, she's got a pretty bad virus right now. And as you guys know, or some of you may know, some of you may not know, she is a heart and kidney transplant survivor and recipient. And so she has very, very little, if any, immune system to fight anything off. So whenever she gets sick, and it seems like she has been sick now with a cold or the flu or something since around November, because y'all, the newest grandbaby he was born on the 29th of October. And because of her illnesses, she hasn't even been able to see the baby yet. Because she doesn't want to give any viruses to anybody else. But on top of that, she's immune suppressant. So she has to be very, very careful. And so we had to cancel our Easter plans. I haven't heard from I don't know if the kids are waiting on mama to make a plan, invite everybody over, but this is what I'm thinking, y'all. Listen, all my children are grown. You hear me? Are grown. Nobody should be waiting on mama anymore to say, all right, guys, I'll host it. Come over here. Negative. Y'all got your own homes. One of y'all open it up because each kid takes a different holiday, right? So I know that's what they're doing. I know they're waiting on me to say, all right, guys, I'll cook for you. Come on over. No, I ain't doing it. I'm not negative. But I also have an excuse not to do it because I need to go out of town. So I was wanting to finish up this case because I didn't want to just leave it hanging and me leave town. And it's not I don't really have a choice. I've got to go do it. But I wanted to get this case out of the way. And that's why I did such a long live yesterday so that we could get most of it out of the way. And I knew I could finish it today and then I could make plans. So I probably won't even be in town for Sunday. And then that's also my excuse as to why mama can't open up the home and cook for everybody. Don't feel like it. No. All right, guys. Good night, Alex. Good to see you. Much love. But you guys will hear from me by Thursday, just tomorrow. Probably not, but if Maggie wants to go live and if I find anything that we need to talk about the Nancy Guthrie case, then I will go live. So make sure your bells are turned on so that I could ring-a-ding-ding them. And you'll know when I'm going live. Thank you guys so much for being here. I appreciate you all so much. Hit the thumbs up on your way out if you have not done so yet. And hey, if you can't be good at it. That's my last word, y'all. Y'all take care of your ShaBusiness. Love you. Bye.
Big heart.